Hello ladies, gentlemen, anything in between, welcome back to another episode of Expert Reviews. This was a replay sent in to replays.wallst at yahoo.co.uk. I'm picking up a lot of replays sent there at the moment, and the conjecture sent along with this replay was that it was to be a certain loss, but then some good teamwork has potentially changed that, and they said have a look, see what you think, so I'm going to have a look and see what I think. Have not seen this game yet, but here we are in the M48 Patton, one of the tanks in the game that has the best view range, 420 meters, found on things like the Sheridan, the M60, and indeed the good old Patton here. Looks like we're sporting a skin from one of the Halloween events with those sparkles blasting out the back of the turret there. Speaking of the turret, got 254mm of frontal armour. On the move shots are very viable in the Patton. Its gun handles in just a spectacular fashion. 76.2 on the side of the turret, a bit of an ambitious shot there. 50.8 on the rear. So let's quickly talk about stopping for that shot there. It makes me nervous. This is not an area that you cross freely. Generally speaking, there's not an area that you hang about in. And he's moved on now, but stopping there for a shot that is by no means likely or certain to connect risks you getting spotted from the centre by something like this AMX 105, which hasn't been spotted yet, and taking some early unnecessary damage. So I don't like that little stop there. Unless I have an absolutely certain and valuable shot, I would not be stopping while moving to this flank, especially in a tank that has 45 kilometers per hour speed forward, 20 in reverse, which that was a magical shot. You bounced a 268mm pen APCR shell off a Leo. That's amazing. 0.36 accuracy, showing its ugly head here. 1.9 second aim time isn't so bad, but maybe that one connected. What was I going to say? Well, I've tried to remember and I can't. Reload is about 8.01 seconds base, I believe. 7.19 rounds per minute, 268mm base pen on the APCR, goes up to 330 with heat. Mediocre 53 with HE, but that pushes up your damage from 390 to 480, so moderately pleasant. 0.36 accuracy, as I mentioned, with that 1.9 second aim time. It's a pleasant gun, and make no mistake, but those shots aren't pleasant. Even with the 1,478 meters per second shell travel time, going down to, 1,173 on the heat and the HE shells, which is pretty damn good for HE shells. I want to be seeing a bit more gusto at this point, do we? I mean, everything of relevance is spotted, apart from the Global 15, apart from the 105, right? Takes a heat pen from a Pajero there, loses his loader. Nothing to be too concerned about just yet. But we've got to be aware we are still missing that 105 and the Global 15. Those two can work well together in a multi-level engagement, so finding either one of them would be a quite useful thing right now. But, oh, and we have found the AMX 105 perching up in the middle. Good, good, good. Now, there's literally only one tank left unspotted. What does that tell you about this map? Right? The only thing we're missing is the gnue. It's difficult. I don't think you can push, because even if the gnue is present here, which is moderately unlikely considering the T100 LT's position here, you would think that the gnue would have been lit if he had been active in this position. It's likely at this point, in my mind, that the gnue 15 is here. And if he's here, it just means we can't push this corner. It would be difficult to push it anyway. We probably need this Foch 155 to come in, or we could wolf pack with all of the mediums together here. But at this point, you want to be responsive, but I personally, I wouldn't want to be the one making that break. Like, saying, okay, I'm gonna go in co-op, mate, let's go, team, because chances are your team's just gonna leave you to die. What I would be doing here is, I would be trying to relocate here, not with a view to pushing, but with a view to, oh no, my top speed is only 45 kilometers per hour. If I'm back here and these guys push, it's going to be quite difficult for me to both notice that and get involved in it. So I'd want to be a little closer to the action in this area to see if I could be responsive in a tank that is a bit inhibited in that regard. As we know though, 420 meters of base view range might be one of the most viable tanks to pick up something like an MX-105 at that sort of distance. Looks like our Leopard 1 is going in for him. Interesting. I'd be aiming up at the TVP's location right now. TVP does get taken out, but what I'd be thinking, seeing that 105 go in like that, you know the Leo 1 has taken his entire clip now, the AMX is now no threat for him. As soon as that guy was going in, I would probably have aimed at the TVP's location. Because I expect that TVP, who was a one-shot, to poke in this bush to try and shoot for the Leo. And picking up that guy would be the best I could contribute to this engagement, in my mind. But, that said, let's see if the Leo can use one of his lovely HE shells to pick up that remaining health on that AMX before he gets out. It's like the other Leo's going down to help him. Okay, well now we got a problem, do we not? Well, got more than just one problem. Oh, we got a whole bunch of heavies pushing into base. Now we're making use of the 810 horsepower engine, giving us a horsepower per ton of, what, 17.95, I believe, with this tank weighing about 47,719 tons when it's not wielding any equipment. Heat shells are loaded in, as mentioned earlier, 330mm pen. You are going to be able to find some pens even at this sort of distance, because heat shells and any kind of high explosive shells do not lose penetration over distance, unlike AP and APCR shells for that matter. Right, and are you going to get a couple of shots? Not quite. So, one thing that I discovered when I was looking at the stats of this vehicle, 9 degrees of gun depression. 9 degrees. Which is odd, because I always, for some reason, thought it had 10. But nope, only 9. Now let's quickly, before this game looks like it's going to heat up a little bit, let's talk about the armor profile of the Patton, particularly in this situation, but in a more general circumstance as well. So, tank armor first, we get to look at this beautiful skin as well. So we got, do I have, I do have front cam, lovely. So, frontally, we got 254 on the front of the tank, 76.2 on the side, 50.8 on the rear. Now, the cupola, the vast majority of it, is 76.2mm. But as you go higher, it splits into a range of 50.8. Now, that's not really relevant, because the entire thing is basically a weak spot, considering that this is a Tier 10 vehicle. Yes, cupola is a weak spot, but as you'll notice, with many weak spots, the more gun depression you are using, the harder it is for the enemy to hit that weak spot. Because right now, I'm essentially demoing it as if the Patton's on flat land. But no, in this situation, the enemy are seeing this, which makes this cupola a much harder target. So in tanks like this and the M103, things like that, using more gun depression, as he is here, using almost, I'd say, probably 8 or 9 degrees of gun depression here, actually makes your armor better. Now, there is a risk with the Patton, because the gun mantlet just around the gun is about 260, right? 260mm of armor, and it goes to 300 as you get wider out, so a bit dangerous. There, you can just shoot this thing straight in the face if you have enough pen. Now, in terms of hull armor, we've got 152.4 on the front of the hull, 76.2 on the rear, and then, oh, this big old thick American booty, 25.4 millimeters of armor, yet 25. Not even 38. I know American tanks are famous for terrible hull armor terrible rear armor in the game, but my god, this is something. You got HE shells, you get up behind a Patton. Woo! You got a field day. Let's talk lower plate. If you hit mid-lower plate, it's about 170. But the thing about the Patton is its armor's kind of jolly. Right? You got 170 here, and then like 250 towards the side, and then upper plate can range from like 240 to 2 whatever. It's just a range, right? Generally speaking, middle to lower plate is going to do you well. But one thing that's interesting, I'll go over here to demo this. When you are sidescraping in a Patton, you actually present a weak spot on the top of the hull around here, which goes down to about 170. Right? In addition to that, the turret ring that you can see quite prominently here is about 200 millimeters, so a viable weak spot as well. One thing that's worth noting as well, if you're playing and facing off against a Patton, when it is sidescraping itself to you, so when you see this sort of profile of its side, you've got an engine deck right here. That is 50 millimeters. And it's not an auto bounce angle. So if you see a Patton sidescraping, he's not giving you a very good shot, shoot there. Right there. That is legitimately... why am I doing this? No! That is legitimately a weak spot. And you can hit it, and you can pen it. So, bear that in mind. Right! Armor done and dusted. Let's see just how well this beautiful man works this gun depression. At this point, I want to see you going wider. You need to be getting out to sort of this position right now. Maybe this Leo's going to get up to here. That would be lovely. But yes, widen your position. Get an angle on the 60 TP. Threaten. The enemy have to cross a load of open land to get on top of your position, and you are very, very healthy. It might have even been worth, after that 60 TP fired, moving out wide. Let me just check that, actually. Do you move over to there? No, I don't think you do. I think in this circumstance, the cost of health to get over there and the isolation wouldn't be worth any potential gain. The enemy still can't win from that position. You're still defending the cat from here. So I don't think going wide in this situation, or any wider, apologies, in this situation, is the correct play. So we'll have to see how you do here. That's a shot I'd be proud of. The stony man over here. Have to see if you can connect with the cupolas. What are we missing? Gru 15, the last seen on that hill. Gotta be worried about his remaining health. Nice dodge of an Archie shell there, won't say no to it. MX coming in. Oh, lucky bounce from the heat shell of that 60 TP. Yes, the heat shells are not nearly as good as yours. I think, what, 310 millimeters of pen? I don't remember it being that good on the 60 TP. Oh, cheeky movement out. I do like that movement out to try and pressure the one shot. And again, Lions going in. You want to be a bit more active here, or are you going to keep going out wide? Yeah, the Force 155 at this point on your team is kind of completely irrelevant. If you're going to win, you're going to win with you, and you're going to win the Lion. So you want to support that guy's position. You've got to be asking questions at this point. Gru 15 is probably not relevant yet. Let's hope he wasn't too enthusiastic with moving forward. Where's the E50M? Full health E50M spotted. Does he poke up here? Does he pressure this Lion? Thing is about the Patton, 7.19 grams per minute. 1,922.90 DPM. That's base. It's good DPM. The E50M has the same DPM as its lower tier counterpart, the E50. assuming the E50 is using a 105mm gun. That means you can win a 1v1 with an E50M, assuming you're going to get rammed in the tits. And even then, the Patton's going to take that fairly well, being almost 50 tons. So it's worth noting you can 1v1 an E50M, but fair fights are for suckers. Lion with that auto reloader, still fairly healthy, does take out the AMX, absolutely beautiful. Oh! Well, ain't that swell? Suddenly, E50M being on a lot less health than we thought it was. Now, this is a lovely multi-level engagement between you and the Patton right now. And yes, Artie comes in, nice dodge. Do you go out wide here? The last thing you want is isolation from your Leo. You want to always be in a position to both support him and gain support from him. And you gotta worry about the Grille 15 Leo. These are responsive enemy tanks. Nice shooting, but that loader hitting the deck once again. E50 Leopard 1, second shell into the E5. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Yeah, Lion is pinging the map. And I think he's quite right to be concerned. Putting that E5 down to very much a one-shot. Could pick him up with a HE shell right now, but doesn't look like it's going to be needed. Splendid. That E5 absolutely squandered his potential there. I do wonder what prompted that play. Where was the team? Where was the support? Why did he expose himself so much? Interesting. Okay, and honestly, depending, this entire balance depends on the health of the Grille, to be honest. How healthy is the Grille 15? Now, I do kind of like, when you're locating here, trying to make it a bit unpredictable. You don't want to always be in the same place. And again, when you're locating back towards your team, not YOLOing off alone, not isolating yourself, back towards your team. It's one advantage you will have against the Grille 15. 420 meters of view range. What's the Grille 15 got? Like 370, something like that. So if he pops up here by this neck, you're very likely to outspot him easily. So the lead position right now favors outspotting that Grille if he is moving in. Looks like the Lion's going to take up the position that you just occupied. And yeah, honestly, you're favoured to win or draw this game. Right? I would bet money in this situation on the enemy losing it, or at least not winning it. I would not put money on the enemy team winning, because this is an extremely hard situation to dig the enemy out of. Oh! Oh, it's I need a moment. I mean, it is a risk. It is a risk. Okay, I was expecting a Grille 15 hit, which would have been crippling. Look, being here, to clarify, being here is not a bad thing, AMX up. Being here, certainly not a bad thing. Beautiful kill by the Lion. This position still offers a multi-level engagement. You prevent egress from anyone out here, the same as you did back here. And you get a support from the Lion back here. The only issue in this situation is potentially if that Lion dies back there, your position weakens more than this position would, right? If you were still here and this Lion died, your position doesn't really get that much weaker. It gets a little bit weaker by nature. That's how positioning works. But this position is more compromised by losing the line of support, right, than this position is. Which is why it made me viscerally uncomfortable to see you moving up here. Not just because of the inherent risk of taking a Gnu 15 shell and then ending up close to a one-shot for these other tanks, but because you've got to think about the future of the engagement. And in this situation, your supportive engagement is almost more at risk than the forward one. Right? Which of these tanks is going to die first, the Leo or the Patton? Well, my money would be on the Leo, on the Lion dying first. Because if they want to come around and kill the Patton, they have to expose to the Leo. It's why, when confronted with a multi-level engagement, you deal with the supportive line of fire first. And that is often done by providing a non-linear approach. You can see my entire review that I did on multi-level engagements. If I remember, I'll put a card up in the top right of your screen. Very helpful video covering this manner of tactic. And the reason that I favoured the enemy team losing this circumstance is because there's no non-linear way that you can attack this end of the map. There's no subtlety. There's no really wider option. Okay, I don't really like attacking around here. You can have a look. I wouldn't go further unless. Okay, eyes on the map, eyes on the map. Lion is being responsive. He sees you going out, he's moved, right? Where he was losing the shot on you, so he moved. The constant multi-level engagement that these two have been providing each other is why they are still in contention of this in this game. Right? There is always line of fire and line of support between these two tanks, and they are both responsible for that play. So Lion's moving forward. Oh no, still holding. Okay, 3 minutes left. You've got the question at this point, the passivity of the Gnu 15, just how severe is it? Are the enemy team in chat saying, hey, Gnu, get off your ass because he's still sat at base? At some point, when you play defensively, when you set up a multi-level engagement, especially on a map like, oh my god. Well, that makes things easier, okay. Don't know how I managed that, what a magical man. When you play defensively, and this is especially true in situations, game states like this, you have to at some point say, okay, I don't want to draw. I don't want to draw. I want to go for the win. And in this game circumstance, that involves inherent risk. And it's tied very much into time. Right? When you have more time, you can have more patience, you can have more choice. They're being forced into action by the 2 minutes left on the clock at this point. And it's always nice to adhere to the principle of do not gamble from a position of power in World of Tanks. You can think of this as, oh my, beautiful kill, E50M not quite responsive enough. Lion's gonna pan. I would be very scared if I were the Lion here. Very scared if I were the Lion. Going in, the Lion should die here. Lion should die, logically. That is major exposure from the Lion. Where's the grill if he's not making that shot on the Lion? Well, that's what GG looks like. He clicks HE, 53mm of pen, 8.01 second reload, and he's going to intuition. I would have aimed a little wider on the turret there, but we are going to get this kill. You can take a hit from the grill. 503, 480 average damage. Lion's going to move, go for the arty. Go, 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 go. Oh, arty kills the Lion. Damn, okay, if he was targeting him because of the logic of it, then it's well played. Oh, tracking shot, okay, repair and move, move, move. Don't stop, don't stop. Do not stop at this point, my man. You got one of the fastest arties in the game. Right? The lion has just died. You saw him shoot at you earlier. You know at this point, okay, he's only got, what, one shell left at the most, or he's reloading. Go, 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 go! 420! Ow! Oh... If you listen carefully, you can hear him oinking into the distance. Whew. Well, okay. Nonetheless, beautiful example of what? Multi-level engagement. Multi-level engagements. Throughout that entire latter stage of the game, the Lion and Patton both within support of each other. So multi-level engagements work, and they were absolutely beautiful with it. Shame for the game to end the way it did. The way you could have averted that was, at that point, you know the arty's fired, you know the arty's a bit shite, you just yellow the glue earlier, right? After he misses that first shell, you just yellow and flank. I think that kills him quicker. That also gets you closer to the glue 15 quicker. If the lion hadn't died, that's a GG in my book. It's unfortunate that the arty actually got the shot on the lion. Ah, what a shame. Oh well, let me conclude my thought from earlier about gambling from a position of power. And this is a concept that applies broadly in life, but you can apply it to something like chess or Monopoly, for example. Actually, Monopoly is a good example. If you have an advantage, right? If you have a lot of property, let's use the Monopoly analogy. You have a lot of property, and someone who has a lot less in the way of positioning, a lot less in the way of health, money, advantage, right? Comes up to you and says, hey, I'm in a bit of a pickle, I'll trade you this for this. While that might be a fair trade, for you in a position of power, it is more logical for you to stay where you are because your position is more likely to gain more advantage than theirs is, right? And that can apply in World of Tanks as well. When you are in a position of power, trading, potentially losing that advantage, is objectively worse than just staying stagnant, trying to keep your health and letting the enemy try and work out from that disadvantage. That was done in this game. It just wasn't done quite fast or well enough. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you learned a little something. It's been a pleasure. And send your replays to replays.wallst at yahoo.co.uk, and I will give my thoughts. Thank you very much. Farewell.
Peabody, role model, cooler than the Avengers. Humanity peaks at our community manager. He is mentally jacked and strengthening our backs just like the counterweight on the turret of the Challenger. Cause if we find ourselves in a crappy mood, you will brighten our day just through your attitude. Steven and Peabody, badass crew. So please take the song as a